show I co-wrote with Rachel Hunt, who's right here. And the inspiration came because friends went out to dinner, Rachel, myself, and my friend Krista and our husbands who went out to dinner, and I had mentioned how I have freakishly long arms, which I do. And then Krista said something about the fact that, yes, indeed, I do. And isn't it funny how all women always have something about them that they think is freakishly insecure or freakishly not normal?
Like my big hips and, yes.
Whatever it may be, you know, and it may be beautiful to me, but for you, perhaps that is an issue. So Krista said you should write a show about that. Or no, she said somebody should write a show about that, and I thought somebody should. And then we did, and then we shot it, and we're really proud of it, and we wrote 6 episodes and a whole season, and I hope that you liked it.
Thank you.
I don't really have that much to add, except exactly what Ava said. You know, we just set out to really depict what it's like to be a middle-aged mom living in the San Fernando Valley. You have to write about the things that you know. So we did, and it's funny because obviously a lot of it was fiction, but we did base it on real things like freakishly long arms or children that are stealing food at a birthday party. So it really did happen. So yeah, that's
Awesome. I'm Linda Reese, I'm the director of Ready to Go. And thank you. I didn't write it, I just directed it, but I had been asked to direct, it's my first film, I'd been asked to direct something, and so I asked a friend to write me, but I gave him the specs of a narrative, a beginning, a middle, and an end, and I just wanted something I could get my teeth into a little bit, and so that was what came out of it. Thank you.
I'm Mitch Roberson. I wrote, produced, and acted in Nana's Room. And I guess my inspiration came from being in a few short films that some friends had actually asked me to be in. I realized that I wanted to tell my own story and that I had a voice also. So in going through that, at the time, my dad had passed. And actually my dad had not passed yet. I was taking care of him for about two and a half years. And that inspiration for that story came from actually my dad being ill. But I do have to agree with, you have to write about what you know and what you're passionate about. So that's where that came from.
I'm Francesca Nobili. I made With Love Tale of a Little Sassy Girl. And it started like just a Halloween short film. But at that time, the Me Too movement was starting. And I was hit by that, and I was elaborating it in my mind. And so I changed the little boy, who was at the beginning a little girl, and made everything more pink. And it just became my short film dedicated to all the little girls, young women, and women that have to fight their own monsters on a daily basis. Just to remind them that they can fight and win through creativity, and they can do that.
Hi there, I'm Candace. I am the writer and director of The Just. The inspiration for the story of The Just is kind of unremarkable. It was a story that someone had told me about how a guy had broken into his house and he turned the tables on this robber, and I thought that was a really cool idea, and I kind of wanted to take it a few steps further and show what the aftermath of that could be. But the inspiration behind the production was really that I think there's kind of been this myth that women can only tell female stories. And I love romantic comedies. I've written them. Nancy Meyers is like an idol of mine. But I wanted to show that women can like dark material too, and can like a gritty story, and that it's not just, you know, a male-focused area. So that's kind of what I wanted to do. I had a male director attached initially, and I was like, you know, this is my project, and I'm gonna do it. So that's kind of what happened.
And you know, as you know, seeing all these great stories, obviously we've all had obstacles, right? Creating my business, Body by Gia, a fitness brand for curvy women. At the beginning, 5 years ago, people were like, "You're wasting your time. Nobody's gonna watch this." My father being my biggest non-fan, I had to overcome all these obstacles and just believe in the seed that was planted in me, like a lot of the seeds that were planted in all of you. So I'd like to know if you guys would like to share any obstacles that you guys overcame in creating your project.
Hi.
Oh yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, I think
Sorry, I'm not a fantastic woman, but I owe everything in my life to the women that raised me and loved me. And I just want to say that it is an honor to be up here with all of you fantastic human beings who really just brought it. So thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I Love Interrupted quickly for me came from a heartbreak. And I was left, as I have many times in my life, questioning the sanity of my heart and what had happened. Did I experience that feeling? Was that my reality, or was that just a perception my heart created, to fool me? And I felt that so many times after a heartbreak, and I just wanted to tell that story, because I know we've all experienced that. So, thank you.
Thank you. And I wasn't sure if you were with her, but I was like, I think you were in
I would
different
be lucky
film.
to
So.
be, but no.
And I'm like, he doesn't have a mic. But so in going back to the obstacles, even yourself, what are the obstacles that you guys had to overcome? If you'd like to maybe share a story in making your film, anybody?
I have to say that the way my story ended wasn't how it started. I think it goes through a transformation, and you just have to go through the process. It's just this was my first time doing a film myself, and I had no idea that it was going to take so long. And you have to just be patient with it. And it was just a little frustrating because you want to get it done, but you have to also let it, I guess, simmer. And at some point, you have to just say, okay, now it's fine, it's okay. Even on set, there was one scene where the director, I had Nana in pajamas. And she's like, why is she in pajamas? And I was like, what? And my type A personality is like, is she actually going to change this on me right now? Right in the middle of us filming, you know what I mean? It was just nuts, but you have to trust the process and who you have around you. That was the most challenging thing as far as just having the script changed so many times.
I prepped my short back and forth from working. I'm a prop master in my paying job, unless somebody wants to have me as a paying director. Anyone can take it. So I was working on Stranger Things, and I was going back and forth I'd finish, I flew to England, I scouted, I flew back, I did some more work, I flew back, I'm raising money, I'm going back and forth, and I think that it was just, you keep doing it, you keep going, because you just have to get it done. But I think the hardest thing in retrospect is the fact that I didn't have a break. I didn't stop for 3 years between TV shows and getting this short done and getting it out and getting it to the festivals. And I flew back to London for 2 days to colour, and my editor sent the wrong mix over to the colorist, so I had to sit in a coffee shop in London for 4 of my 8 hours waiting for them to read, things like that. You just want to shoot yourself. But then, like your parents, it's like pregnancy. It's like labor. You go through the whole thing, and then suddenly your baby comes out, and you're like, oh my God, it's so fabulous. And you don't remember any of the pain.
I think we do. And I was going to say, for us as parents, we have children at home, so our story is probably not as glamorous as hers, where she gets to fly to London. For me, then it would be, I have to do laundry, I have to get my kids to school, I have to pick them back up, and you do all this everyday stuff, the humdrum of the daily routine. And then and we're older, I'm older, I won't talk for Rachel on that one. But, and I'm not working in the business, or I'm not connected. I pulled favors from all of my friends. So all these people up on our show are friends. We do Carol, of course, and Kaylee are working actresses, but yay, Dina, we love you. But thank you. But that's what we did. We had to do our everyday stuff and not sort of falter as moms or as wives or as volunteers at school, and still try to do something really creative and cinematic that's kind of intimidating, right, for us.
It was a big deal. It was a very big undertaking because we also had not done it before. So two housewife moms decided, hey,
Middle-aged.
Middle-aged. We've got a good story to tell, and we think it's funny, so we think other people would think it was funny too. So it was a challenge with everything else we were non-glamorously juggling.
I definitely think there's one thing in common with all of these women is that, like I said, they all believed in that seed that was planted in you, and you guys all overcame the challenges, whether it be people, things, places. You guys took a risk though, and for me that I'm just starting out, like I started in YouTube and now I'm creating short videos, and you just never know where it could take you. So I started because I love fitness, and now it's opened up all these doors. But for you guys, is anybody interested in maybe sharing how you guys started in film? What took you? What was the initial platform that took you guys?
I kind of fell into it. I fell into propping. I had been a nanny I'm a trained nanny, and I was a nanny and I ran people's homes and I looked after stuff, and then I just didn't want to do that anymore. And a friend of mine was in production and said, you should get into production, and I realised that I didn't want to look after other people's children who were grown up. But I like making things and I like building stuff, and so I went into props.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So you found that initial passion then?
Yeah, I've always made things, and if I didn't do my paying job, I'd be on Hoarders.
Yeah.
So I get to shop with somebody else's credit card all day on the eBay.
That would be wonderful.
What bad is that?
Well, thank you guys so much. Let's give a round of applause one more time for these amazing women. Obviously, Summer Moore for really pushing this. She inspired me to come and also help and just be part of this movement. Women are doing such great things. Women of color, women with disabilities, and it's just so exciting to see what the future holds for us. Maybe not so near, but I know that if all of us did our part, we are eventually going to see the change on the big screen. So, thank you guys.